Yeah. So yesterday we discussed lookup rules, right? So today we'll go with like in dictionary and dictionary override. Write it down. Dictionary and dictionary override. Write it down. Keep the subheading or heading as dictionary, and under that write it down. Dictionary is a table. Dictionary is a table that contains details for each table, details for each details for each field, details for each field, and and the definition for each column, the definition for each column on each table in an instance, on each table in an instance.
I'm or.
On column on each table in an instance. I'll repeat again. The dictionary is a table that contains details of each field and definition for each column on each table in an instance. Full stop. Next line. We can make, next line, we can make fields mandatory, read only, and displaying a field, yes or no. We can display it or else we cannot, we can hide it. I'll repeat again. We can make fields mandatory, read only, and display. We'll go with we're displaying the field or we can hide the field. Full stop. Next, write it down about dictionary override. We use dictionary override we use dictionary override to allow to allow to allow a field in a child table. I'm typing over here. A field in a child table to have a different value, to have a different value or behavior than the same field in a parent table, than the same field in a parent table. in a parent table. I'll repeat again. We use a dictionary override to allow a field in a child table to have a different value or behavior than the same field in a parent table. Okay. Next line. If we want to override, if we want to override the parent table properties, if we want to override the parent table properties, then then we go for dictionary override. Then we go for dictionary override. Full stop. Okay. So let me explain this. And before going into this, I just want to show you something. Yeah. So let me take this only. Product documentation. Okay. Let me zoom it. Okay. So see guys, let me tell you something. Before going into this, I just need to tell you. Okay, so in service now we do have like in multiple tables, right? So whole thing whatever which we will having a tables. Let's say as I showed you yesterday, incident, that is a table, incident table. As I told you, it's like an assignment lookup rules yesterday and priority lookup rules. So priority lookup rules one table and assignment lookup rule is another table. Okay, so whatever which we work with in service now, so everywhere which we are going to work with tables only, mostly 99% which we work with like in tables only. So we have a types of tables as well: parent table and child table. Okay, so parent table, we have types of tables. Table is nothing but, we know about it, right? The columns and rows which together having a number of records. So that is a concept called tables creation. So there we will find out more details regarding this. Okay, how to create a tables, how we are going to create a parent table and child table, how we add the fields. Okay, so all these things which we will learn in that specific concept. As of now, just focus on like in tables was the thing which we are going to work with in whole service now. And we have two types of tables: parent table, child table. Parent table, we can call it as a base table or row table as well. Okay, so now see, let's say, look into the picture. So here, this is a base table or task table we have. So this is a parent table, let's say example. And we have a child table as like an incident, problem, and change. Okay, so these three will act as a child table for this task table is a parent table here. Okay, so let's say example, if I do, so dictionary is something which we do fields mandatory, read only, and display, right? So let me tell you what is dictionary now. So dictionary is something which we do have like in all the field information in dictionary. Let's say example, if I go to incident table, okay. So here see we do have like in multiple tables, right? So if I want to get like in here we have a multiple records, sorry. So here we do have like in multiple records. Here we have a multiple fields. So let's take an example. If I want to know more about the color field or else category field or subcategory field. So if I want full details regarding that specific field, so we will go to the dictionary. How we are going to do? I click on this the field. We have a configure dictionary. Click here and we will redirect it to the dictionary table. See here the table got changed into like a sys underscore dictionary. So now we are in dictionary. So that in which table it is, an instant table, type of a field is string, column is subcategory. So if you want to like in more details regarding this, then we just need to right click on the field and we will navigate to this dictionary. So let me go with like an each and every field available over here. Then I'll go and I'll show you the demonstration of these stuff. Okay, so let me go ahead with like in the fields available. See, I have which table the field belongs to. It belongs to instant table. And what type of the field? It's a string field. Okay, and then column label is subcategory. And the column name and label. So you will get like a confusion or else question over here that what is the difference between column label and column name? So column label is nothing but so which is showcased, which we can display this field value in the form. So what is the display value of a field? Here see subcategory. Okay. So what's the backend value of this is, see here show subcategory is the backend value. So small s will be value. See here small s is there. For like a display value, we have a capital S in the starting. So label is something, the display value, name is something, the backend value. Okay, so whenever I'm going to read the or else access this field values by using scripting, okay, I need to use this subcategory with the smaller letters. If I use this one, we'll get an error. We won't get like an expected output anyhow because we just need to go with like in the backend value only. Okay, and the maximum length. So maximum length, how many characters which we can insert with this value is a string field, right? So we can mention 40 is the default number which we get it, so we can increase it as well. Okay, and if I go with like in right side, so see is application and active. So these two will be available for each and every table anyhow. So application is nothing but as we know about it, so it will be available for like in with the whole instance. Okay, and then active is something, so if I want to make this field as like an active, okay, it's just like in switch on and off. So if you off it, if you make it as like an inactive, so it's just like an not available, this functionality will won't work. Let's say example, if I wrote a script, that's a business rule I wrote, but that is in an inactive state, but whatever the script which I have written, that will not execute or that will not, the functionality will not work in the service now, whatever the requirement might be. So the active and inactive is something, whenever it is like an active only, it will be available. If it is like an inactive, so we will not gonna use this one. So let's say example, when we are going to use this. Okay, so inactive. So inactive is something, let's say I wrote a script and that is no longer required for now. So instead of like in deleting that specific script or in configurations or customizations, we can make that as inactive. And in future, if we might got like a similar requirement with few changes. Okay, so then I can make it as an active and I can work on that. So instead of deleting it completely, we can make it as inactive. Okay, so it will remain in our instance only, and in future we can utilize it. Okay, so that's how which we are going to utilize this active and inactive. Okay, and this function field we have it, and by default we are going to it's like an enabled only. Okay, just like an application field, so we are not going to do anything. Okay, and these three are very important, which we just need to focus on: read only, mandatory, and display. Okay, so read only is something. See, this field I cannot edit it. Only I can read. This field also I cannot edit. Only I can read. And he's here. This field also I cannot edit. So those fields which you are giving only access to read the value, then we are gonna use this read only. If you want to make any field values that you should not give permission to change the value, then we will make that specific field as read only. Okay, if I go with like in mandatory, so see here we have a star icons. So if I here the color is like in mandatory, right? So if I make it as like an empty and if I try to save it, so the mandatory field should be filled for sure. So if I want to make any field as a star icon, star, see the icon of a star, which I just need to add over here to make a field mandatory, then I will check this one. Okay, if I want to hide any field or if I want to display any field, then I will click on this. Okay, so this is what I'll show you as well. Okay, let me scroll down and we'll go with the rest of the fields available in dictionary and then we'll move for the next one. So here we have attributes. So attributes is nothing but here see alert the behavior of a field or functionality that depends on the field. So this is for something which we make it as a true. By default, we'll get it. Okay, so you can just look and ignore it for now. Okay, and if I scroll down, so these are the important things which you just need to focus on. See, choose list specifications. So if it is like a choice list, see here I have like it by default, here I have a none value. By default, I have here as like a software. So we can which we can set up drop down with none, none we can add, or else drop down without none. We need to specify a default value, or else we can suggest something, or else drop down with none also we can go ahead. This is what which is available and simply none also we can mention. If it is like in choice list is nothing but the drop down thing, whatever which we get, right? So this one. Okay. And we'll go with like in choice table, which will mention the table, which table you are going to do it. Okay. And dependent value. So dependent field. So this dependent field, which we will discuss as well in while creating a table. Okay, so dependent field is something. See here, depending on category, subcategories coming up, right? If I go to hardware, okay, the subcategory fields will be CPU, disk, keyboard, and so on. If I go with like in some other stuff, network, and now it is another options. So that's what we are depending with like in category over here. The subcategory field is depending on a category field. So that's what which they configure there. Okay. And then if I go with like an calculated values, if I want to work with like an any calculating with some other stuff or calculating with like an values and all, then I can go ahead. So here I can have a script and formula as well. Okay, just like inquiries and all these things which we can use. As of now, I haven't used it. Okay, and we can go with like in the next one we have. If I scroll down, so here see I have a related links and related fields. So access control. Access control is nothing but ACLs, access control list. Okay, so if there is like any specific conditions or restrictions which we need to display only for these people, we should not display for like another people. So those kind of conditions is available. Then we are going to add over here. Okay, and the choices is nothing but how many choices are there for this specific subcategory. So see here we have like a multiple, right? So that's what which we can check it up over here. We have antivirus, CPE and everything, and the dependent value which you can check it out in our last column. This is about like in the choices, and we have our attributes as well, the same thing which is true. And if I go here, label is nothing but what's the label of this one, is subcategory which is there in an instant table, and the label is this is what. Okay, so this is what about like in the dictionary fields which we will get. Okay, so if I want to make any field mandatory or anything, let me refresh this. Okay, so let me go over here. So here you can understand better. And one more thing, guys, there is like a docs.servicenow.com, which you will get all the documentations of ServiceNow with all the modules. So how you just need to go ahead, docs.servicenow.com, type it up in Google. I will keep in your chat box as well for you guys. Okay. So this is the site actually. So we will get definition for each and everything in ServiceNow. Whatever the module, whatever the version might be, okay, we will get everything. Let's say I'll go with like in recent release only, Nita, and then click on this. And here also we can check this one. Let's say I just need to get some definitions or something. Let's say example, yesterday we discussed about like an assignment lookup rules, right? Okay. So just view like an assignment lookup rules. So if you get like in here, then that's fine. If not, see here we have that assignment lookup rules. So even here also, you just need to select the version, and here see I got this. Define assignment rules. Just you can click over here and you will get all the details regarding this. What define assignment, which is we are in a term. Okay, so this is a definition and this is the examples which we can go, okay, all the things which you will get it. Okay, so here we have a data lookup rules, create assignment rule. So if I click on this, so here it will show how to go, how to begin. So before what you are gonna do. Okay, so what is the procedure? Go to the assignment lookup rules, which is there in system policy, and then scroll down what is name, what is active, what is table which you need to go, where you can read this tab. Okay, and we use like an user group script also available. So these things which you can go ahead. And if you want like in more details regarding it, you can search and you can do whatever you want. So yesterday we discussed about this concept, right? So these are the examples which we can go ahead. See, they are using like in categories inquiry help and subcategories email, and they are auto-populating assigned to as spread learning. Okay, so that's how which you can go ahead by using .servicenow.com. Whatever the concept might be, just type it in a search bar. Okay, then you will get a related search as well. If there is something similar to your thing, you can select it, or else you can click on enter and you will get this thing. Okay, before that, it's better to go with like a latest version, or else if you want to specifically want to set up like an, or else you need to check like in previous versions as well, you can check with that as well. But anyhow, it won't be like in much difference will not be there. Okay, only the new things will be added on to like in the latest version. Okay, just keep this in mind whenever you are working and whenever you are practicing as well. Okay, so now we'll go back to like in the concept. So see here we have a parent table and child table. Let's say example, we have a task table as a parent table. Okay, and the child table as incident, problem, change. Let's say example, we'll take this. Okay, so if I want to change a field in incident, if I make a description as a mandatory. Let's say example, if I have a same field in problem as well, then the mandatory thing will be applied for the problem as well. That's what which we discussed over here as well, right? Dictionary, the table which contains all the details for each field. Okay, so here we are not going to allow a field in a child table. Okay, if I want to make any child table which we are going to make a mandatory or read only or anything, okay, so that should not impact, or else that should not go ahead with like in the parent table as well. So if the parent table we have these three, right? So we do have like a different values of behavior than the same field in a parent table if we use dictionary override. What will happen in dictionary, whatever the values which I change for incident, if I have a same field in a problem and change, and instead of like in going with this, okay, so that also will be applicable over there. Let me show you that one. You got the point, right? Let me tell you one more time. Let's say example, if I make any field mandatory or read only or something an incident table, I'm in incident table right now. Okay, so that is like another child tables as well, like problem and change as well. So if I have a same description field or whatever the fields, then the another table as well. Okay, so if I make this as a mandatory, okay, in problem and change table also, it will become as a mandatory for that specific field. Okay, so let me open the problem table and we'll show you. Okay, in left navigation, just type it out like in problem, and here we'll get all this. Just click on all to get a list of records. Okay, if I open a problem, just like an incident table, we do have all the fields over here. Okay, the fields few might be like in different. So see here, we have a description field. So if I check on like in the backend value of the description, the backend value is same. And remember one thing, whenever we are changing any field or anything in a specific table, if the backend value is same for the another table, then table field, then it will apply, or else it won't. Okay, see the backend value of this is like in description. Okay, and for the incident also, the backend value is like in same. Let's say if this is different, then it won't work. If it is like in same, then only it will. Okay, so let me make this incident. We are in a subcategory, right? We go back.
Priyanka, I have a question.
Yeah.
Say for example, this application that is incident is being used by two separate clients.
Mm.
So, is there some functionality where we can differentiate the layout completely?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We can do, but if it is like a mandatory thing which we apply, we just need to discuss with like in the second client. So here we are not going to use with the second client over
Priyanka,
here.
could you
And
repeat it? Your voice got
Huh.
broke down.
Yes.
yeah, sure.
Yes. Yes.
So I was telling that, so whenever we get an instance, whenever we are allotted to a project, so we'll get only one single client with different teams and different alignments. Okay, so let's say example ABC project which I was aligned to, and internally we do have like an integration team, and then ITSM team and some other team as a team, okay, discovery team. So we do have like in different teams. So in different teams they might utilize the same table sometimes. So as I told you, we have a views. Reviews we have, right? We do have like in views arrangement of fields. We have a different field, so we can make it as like in different views. Let's say example, I'm working with like a default view, and the other team work can create a view, and they can display whatever which they need, and they can work on. Okay, in when coming to like a description of mandatory and read only kind of stuff, if they need to work to edit something, and if we know we are going to hide the field, then we just need to discuss about that to them. We can create a alternative field for that, or else we can utilize the same stuff as well. So it depends on like in the discussion and the priority, or else the impact of that specific field, if we use the same thing, same track with the same field. Okay, we will discuss it. If it is fine, then we'll go with the same field. If something is like in contract things is like in happening, disturbance is like in happening, we will create a new field. Then we will use the previous one, and the new field can be used with like another team. So that also which we can do. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So if I make a description as like in just example mandatory, so I'm in a incident table before, so I'm making this as like a description as mandatory. So save the form, let's say example, and refresh here, and go to the problem as well, refresh the page. Now we will see the incident as like you can see the star icon came up, it's a mandatory. And if I click on like in the problem as well, see, I got this as well, the mandatory. So as I told you, so if I make a field mandatory in one specific child table, it will apply for the rest of it tables as well. That's what about like in the dictionary thing. Okay, so if I mention like in read only as well, even that also will work. Okay, so we do have like in less time. So let me go with like a dictionary override. So dictionary override is something what it will happen. So I just need to make a field only in an incident table, but these impact should not go with the other table. So these changes should not impact the other tables. So in that case, which we can override the dictionary thing. Okay, and that we can display that specific minor changes, whatever the functionality might be, that will be there only for the instant table, and it will not impact the other table when we use dictionary override. That's what, right? We are going to allow a field in a child table with a different value of behavior that's not same in the previous parent table. Okay, simply which we are going to override it, or else restricting the parent properties to the child table. Okay, so if I apply the dictionary override, okay, the similar thing, if I changed it in a incident table, whereas if the problem table update also it's like it came up, right? So it should not come, it won't come if I use dictionary override. Okay, let me show you that how we are gonna do. Just remove this for now and save it. So now I'm in a description field, scroll down. Here see dictionary override I have. Right. So if you have like an already is record over here, then you can open that, or else you can click on new as well. Okay, so I'll click on like in this incident. If you click new, so the same thing will come up, but you just need to check the table. So I need to make a field mandatory only for the incident table, only for the description. In the description field, I need to make a mandatory or anything, read only or anything that should override the another table which is under base table, which is something but task table. Okay, so let me go with like in the options available here. The first thing, override reference qualifier. So we have a reference qualifier, one concept. Okay, so we can override that one as well. Okay, and I have a override dependent. So the dependent which I showed you, right? So if I want to override that, I can do that. So, and attributes also I can go ahead, and default value. So there is a default value as well. See here I have default value. So let's say if I want to set any default value whenever I open the record, then I can set the default value as well. So if I want to override that, and that also will happen. And there is a calculations also I can override. And here see mandatory, read only, and display, the three things. Okay, so I just need to override this one, override mandatory. If these two should be like unchecked. Okay, so if this is like this, it won't work. Just mention one more confirmation by clicking on this and click on update. So now I clicked on submit. It's like an update, right? So now this is done, and now whenever I refresh the page, so see here, there is a star, and here also there is a star. If I refresh these two pages, we'll see what will happen. Now the description, the star will be available because we did for like an instant table only. Okay, so I'm in a problem table now. Now if I refresh this, see the star icon, the star is not available for this description now. So even though it was there for like an incident table. So see here for incident table we have a star, whereas it won't have. If I remove this one, and if I make it over here, then it will apply for like in all the child tables of a task table. If we have a same field with a backend value, same backend value, then it will happen. So let me recall it one more time so that it will not be confused for you, and then I'll go with your questions. Okay, so dictionary is something we do have a full details regarding a field. So let's say example, any field, let's say example caller. If I go ahead with like in the caller, and to check the dictionary or else the field full details regarding this, right click on a field, go to the configure dictionary. Okay, so here we will get a full details regarding caller. So caller is a reference field, so the type is reference. Okay, so if I scroll down, so all the things is available regarding this. So even this also which I can go ahead. So we will get a full details of that specific field in a table. Okay, so and here we do how like can read only, mandatory, and display as well. So as per like in the table, parent table and child table, whenever I change any changes in like let's say one child table, that will apply for the rest of the tables as well, if we have a same field with the same backend value. Okay, so here if I want to make the whole field, wherever the field might be there in all the child table, then I will go with the dictionary. Okay, or else here if I want to do the same functionality but only for a one specific child table, and the changes should not impact the rest of the fields or rest of a table fields, then I can use dictionary override. How to do that? Just scroll down, and here in the end of last tab, we have a dictionary override. Click on this and then check whatever the thing which you need to override, and then click on update. And you can check it whether it's applicable for only that specific field of that specific table or not with the another child tables as well. Okay, so that's how, depending on like an requirement. If my requirement is nothing but if client was telling that wherever the field might be irrespective of a table, I need this field as a mandatory. If they was telling that one, then I can go with the dictionary. Or else if there is any specific requirement that only for this specific table and this is a field we need to make it mandatory, then we will go with the dictionary override. Okay, and we do have like a few more stuff as well, like UI policy, data policy, and client scripts, and all these things which we have to make a field mandatory, read only, and hiding a field, and displaying a field, everything. This is what one option which we have in ServiceNow, and the rest of the things which we will learn in the next classes. Okay, yeah. So I'll go with your questions now.
Priyanka, could you
Yeah.
please navigate to that page where you were configuring dictionary entry?
Yeah, just open any of a table.
Uh,
Okay, so let's say example, let me show you incidents. Okay, so open any record. Let's say example, I'm in an incident table. So here I'm in incident table. Let's say I want to check on caller or category or any field. So I have gone to dictionary description. Okay, let's say if I want to go with like in some other stuff, state, right click on the field and then go to configure dictionary, and you will get full details of that specific field. This is a state and the type is integer, and all the details available.
okay,
Okay,
so there is
here we'll make it.
there's an option of mandatory on the right hand side on the top where
Yeah.
the pointer is, and when you move down to the override option,
Mhm.
there we can also make that field as mandatory.
Yeah.
So
Here, no need to go ahead with like an if you are using a override, dictionary override.
yeah.
Okay. So whenever you are using like a dictionary, then you will check over here. Whenever you are using like a dictionary, you can make it as like an unchecked, and then you can go with a new or existing also you can go ahead. Okay. So that's how which you can do. And yeah, so that's what actually.
All right, understood.
Yeah, good. All clear?
Priyanka,
Yes.
you're going faster than usual actually ఈ రోజు కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్ గా వెళ్ళాలనిపించింది.
Okay, fine. I'll slow down.
Yeah, hi Priyanka.
Yeah, hi.
Generally, in real-time scenarios, like where exactly we use the override, the dictionary override.
Yeah, so dictionary override which we use for these kind of tables only. Let's say example in task, I have like in child tables, right? So it should apply for like a, let's say only for the problem table. Then I just need to restrict the rest of the child table. So here we can use, and we do have like in CMDB tables as well. So there we do have like in multiple child tables. So if anything which I have clicked on like in for one specific child table, that should not impact the rest of the tables. So there also which I can use it. So it depends on requirement which I can say. And one more thing, these are like in the existing tables, right? Out of the pro tables which we have. Okay, so if there is something which we created, custom tables. So for those also which we just need to check in, but mostly the child tables which we are not gonna create for like in custom table. If it is custom table with different fields, then no need to worry about like in this dictionary override. If we have similar fields with different, child table, then only we will look on to like in dictionary override. So specifically it depends on like in requirement. Mostly it's a task table and CMDB table which we use. Okay. Okay, yeah. I'll slow down, Monica. Okay, so all good? And did you get the access for the recording videos?
Yeah, I
Yes,
got it.
correct.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So if any of these like is struggling with getting an access, please let me know so that which I can share. So if it's like an all good, so we'll wrap up for today. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I will add this recording video after 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, after the half an hour, you can check it up. And no need, you will not get like an notification every day. Just go to the same mail and refresh the folder. The new video will be added. Okay.
Yeah, this one actually I have attended the one demo class, and then yesterday it was the lookup rules, and then today is the class. So there were classes already, roles and groups and filters as well.
Yes.
So when did
Check
this
it.
was? Yeah, we go just check it, right?
Yeah, just check it out the videos. It was happen you attended on 30, I guess, and then later the 3 days you missed it, I guess, right? 3 or 4 days.
Not really. I mean, I didn't know that. I didn't have. I didn't get the link, so I didn't.
Oh,
Yeah, they told like Monday, the class is starting from
Monday to
Monday. And
Thursday. Yeah. Even in demo class also, I have mentioned the point whether the regular classes is like in starting from Monday only, 1st May. That's fine.
Yeah,
No
is there
problem.
any chance are you going to repeat these things, or do we need to go with this?
Go to these videos. If you're not getting it, then let me know. I'll take a backup classes.
Okay.
Okay. And Sai, I don't have recording videos. I'm new one. Is this a first class for you, Sai? You can unmute and speak. Let me stop recording meanwhile.
Yeah, this is my second class.